What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hero Zero here on the Heroes for Hire podcast. My name is Sean Mean, and joining me as always is my partner in crime, Mr. Conor Lawler.
The sultry tones of Mr. Sean Mean.
Yeah, Sean's been talking all week.
Sound like a man who's been through a lot.
Been through a lot emotionally, mentally.
Physically?
No, not at all.
I'm sitting down the whole time.
Lazy boy.
So this is Hero Zero. We choose one comic book character, as we do every single week. We do their good points, their bad points, and just generally give you a bit of a rundown about that character. Normally, Sean, you choose Marvel.
I do.
And I choose DC. Now,
You
Sean,
do.
it is your week. As last week, I did an absolutely amazing report.
I think people refer to it as a banger. Is that what the kids are
I
saying?
think they said
these
well
days?
lit fam and then okay boomer.
Oh, okay. Well, it
was
is
very
Starfire anyway.
I did Starfire, it was real good.
Real good report. Very well
Well
done.
lit.
Well lit, because of the sun, so
Thank
she gets her
you.
powers from. Listen to
you.
the episode. So I'm covering a character who's been in the news a bit this week, because, as always happens, we record Movie Mondays, and then the next day a trailer drops.
That wouldn't be very unlike... I tell you what now, if you were going to do a movie show...
Yeah.
I would actually say, if you're going to be professional about it, you should probably do that on maybe a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Just, stagger that out.
So you cover the week, because every Tuesday is the day that all trailers drop.
Why would you organise that a show specifically comes out the day before a trailer drops?
I would sacrifice everything for alliteration, though, on the other hand. So
That's
if it's a movie Mondays, you'd have to factor that in.
Hear me out.
Go on.
Trailer Tuesdays.
Oh, that's good. What happens if there's no trailers? Because there's been many a week without...
Week off, lads.
We're working 32 weeks a year.
So I am covering Black Widow.
Oh, Black Widow.
Yes, Natasha Romanoff.
Yes.
Now, you might know a bit about her because of the MCU.
ScarJo.
The very same. But I'd wager there's quite a bit you might not know. And some
Okay.
of it seems to be coming up in this Origin movie. Or not Origin, but the Black Widow solo movie. So I thought I'd just cover...
It goes back to her origins. So,
it shows where she came from. So, she was born in Stalingrad, in Russia.
Okay.
And was orphaned as a result of the Nazis setting fire to her family home.
So she's been around for a long time then.
Yeah, she is like a World War II era comics character.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
She was like round about the time the Avengers started.
Okay.
Black Widow started. So she's really been there. She's old guard.
And so, like, in regards to her, it would be probably very uncommon for a hero to be of Russian descent
Yeah, that's
back
the thing.
then. Because it's World War II, so it's like, everyone has to be American.
Yeah, it's World War II and then Cold War straight after that.
Yes. So everyone's like, either Captain America or you're nobody.
That's the thing. And you also had the Winter Soldier at this time.
Yes.
Had got his own comics from.
Oh, right.
So they were really like... They were always going to turn out as heroes, though.
Okay.
Is the thing. So after her family home was burned down, she was rescued by a man named Ivan Petrovich, who looked after and trained her. So he trained her in combat and also educated her. So she's very well educated.
It's never explained where he came from. He just kind of turned up and trained.
He was a Russian soldier.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he just like he found a kid and he was like, can't really just
Get
leave
in my
it.
van.
No.
I have sweets.
Oh, he has sweets. That's grand.
Always trust a man with sweets in a van.
So as she grew older, her talents caught the attention of Soviet intelligence, which was soon to be known as the KGB, and she was recruited into their ranks. So this soldier trained her in weapons and combat, martial arts, languages, all this kind of stuff. During the war, a young Natasha served in the Russian army, so she's about 18, 19 at this time.
She's in the army.
Yeah. So she fell in love with another young soldier named Nikolai. Despite their initial happiness, the union did not end blissfully, as Nikolai was killed in the war and the baby girl they conceived did not survive birth.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's a lot. She's 18, 19. She's been, like, in the KGB.
So she's lost her child and her husband or boyfriend.
Yeah, her partner.
Yeah, her partner.
So, just like, that's a lot to go through at 18, 19.
That's not great. And she's also been trained from birth to be like the biggest killer ever.
Yeah, so, look, she's really prepared for everything.
She's just, I'd say she's a bit dour, a bit sad.
Yeah, following this event, and also following the end of the Second World War, Natasha progressed into the Black Widow program.
Right.
Where young girls were conditioned to become sleeper agents.
And is she not a bit old then? Like, my idea of that Black Widow program, would they get them in at like 10 or 11 rather than 18 or 19?
See, I think that there is an element of that as well. Certainly in the MCU, it's more like you're brought up in this.
Yeah.
And I assume they just find orphans.
That's probably where I got it from.
Yeah.
Watching the ballet scene in Age of Ultron.
That's very interesting, actually. I'm going to get to this.
Okay.
But, yeah, they were trained at a facility called the Red Room,
Yes.
which is, it tracks with what we've seen in the MCU. Natasha was enhanced with the Soviets' version of Steve Rogers' super soldier serum.
Right.
She had peak human strength and stamina, as well as resistance to disease and slowed down aging.
Okay,
So
but
she-
she doesn't have that in the MCU.
No, she doesn't. She
No.
is just a very good spy in the
Yeah,
MCU.
because I think they probably said it was a bit samey to
Yeah.
have her and Captain America on the same team.
So the idea with the Black Widow program is that, like, you would get these young women and do the absolute femme fatale thing, infiltrate high-profile people.
Because nobody would suspect a woman could be tough, Sean.
Not in the
You
50s.
gotta smile more, bitch.
Oh no. You somehow made that worse.
I was getting into my 50s character.
You were pulling at your
I'm
suspenders.
like shouting at my sister now.
No, not at all.
You woman in the street.
You from the window. So Natasha has memories of studying to be a ballerina as a cover during this time of her life.
Okay.
But it's unclear if she was ever actually a ballerina or if these memories were implanted.
Oh, fuck. There's implanted memories in this and everything.
Yeah,
Oh, Lord.
there's a lot
Okay.
of... It's the same, you see it with the Winter Soldier as well, is that...
Yeah, they just implant memories into him.
Exactly, and they make it... I think it helps them accept what they're being told.
Okay.
Like, if you just take it as, oh, it's a ballet lesson, then you're more likely to, like, latch onto it.
That's
as
really psychological.
Yeah, if it was like, here's how you torture a man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's the way you remember it better.
No.
So she was set up to marry Alexei Shostakov, who was a renowned test pilot.
Okay. I'm sure this guy is going to survive until the end. This is all going to be good.
No, yeah, of course.
Okay, go on.
So they actually had a very happy marriage.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
It's definitely not going to go wrong.
Well, he was also in the KGB.
Oh, that's going to work against him.
The KGB faked his death during an experimental rocket test so that they could bring him back as the Red Guardian, who is the USSR's version of Captain America.
Right.
And we see him
In the trailer.
in the trailer played by David Harbour.
Yes.
I don't know if they're going with that backstory that
No,
they
'cause
were
he
married.
looks like her father.
Yeah, he's a much older man,
Yeah.
I think. But yeah, that's who the Red Guardian is.
Oh.
He's basically just Russian Steve Rogers.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So he was to be a hero that would represent and defend the nation. Natasha's grief over his death drove her further into the clutches and control of the Red Room Academy, and she finally earned the title of Black Widow.
That's probably the highest.
Yeah, Black Widow is like it's like a 00 kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
That you've reached the peak, you're now a Black Widow.
You're a straight up killer that if there's any high profile thing, we will send you on that mission.
Exactly, there's dozens of Black Widows.
Okay.
So she initially worked against the Avengers and the United States as part of the Red Room Academy, but she ended up defecting to join S.H.I.E.L.D. and later joined the Avengers to become a true superhero.
And is there any like major time that like she changes her mind on that, or is it like just over a series of events that she's like, maybe I'm on the wrong side?
It's kind of, she actually meets Hawkeye early on. Her and Hawkeye take on Iron Man
in
together.
Budapest.
In Budapest,
In
of
Budapest.
course. No, they meet in New York.
Okay. Different to Budapest.
Budapest.
Very near it though.
So Hawkeye is trying to become a hero, but he meets Black Widow.
But
and
he's
just,
Jeremy Renner.
yeah, instantly falls in love with her.
Right.
And he's just like, I'll do anything for this woman.
Okay.
And so they go through, he's really conflicted about helping the KGB and stuff like that. But then he looks at Black Widow and is like, I love you.
Looks at ScarJo and goes, no, I could kill these people.
Kill these people.
Get in my van.
But through interacting with Hawkeye, and she fights the Avengers a few times, she realises she's not in control of her own actions.
Yeah.
And she wants to be her own person.
Interesting, right. So she
Yeah.
just basically becomes... Is sentient the right word? Not really.
More so that like she breaks out of brainwashing, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose,
You know,
yeah.
she starts thinking for herself. So given her dark history, she regularly fights adversaries from her past in the Red Room, and they want to just destroy her life.
Yeah, because once you defect, you have, as a comic book writer, you have basically created a whole organisation of villains.
Exactly.
To go against.
And you have relationships with all of those.
So there's
villains.
a backstory, and they know each other, and then they can know each other's moves.
Yeah, there's a motive.
Bit of motive, a bit of emotional pull on the storylines.
Yeah, it's a really good way of having it work. And of course, because it's comics, every so often she'll slip back into
evil
Black Widow mode.
Yeah.
But that just happens.
Yeah, it's comic books. What you do.
The personal nature of these enemies, as we were saying, makes it all the more difficult for her to deal with them, as she deeply regrets her time working for the KGB and wants to eliminate her superiors and all the havoc they have wreaked on the world.
Right.
One of her Red Room opponents, one of the most notable ones, is Yelena Belova,
Okay.
who we see in the trailer as well.
Is that her sister?
They're trained together, so I think that's why they're calling each other sister.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, she is a rival Black Widow. She was the Black Widow after Natasha.
So Natasha was like number 1 student, she's number 2.
Yeah, and then once Natasha defected, it was like, here you go,
You're
a Black
1.
Widow. So she wants to defeat Natasha.
Obviously, to try and prove that she's better.
She's the best Black Widow.
Yeah.
There can't be 2 Black Widows out there. Is her mindset. So they work together occasionally, and Natasha tries to help her find redemption, but she ends up tied to Hydra. So you have Black Widow in S.H.I.E.L.D. and Yelena in Hydra. So they're opposites the whole time, whether it's America, USSR, or the other one. The other one. And they have essentially the same skill set as well.
Yeah, because they would have the same tactical mindset, same fighting skill set. So they're basically just the same agent on different sides.
Exactly, yeah. This is a weird bit in comics.
Oh no!
But she eventually becomes a character called the Super Adaptoid.
Okay.
And Super Adaptoid has all the powers of all the Avengers and can change different parts of them into that Avenger at will.
That seems like a lot.
Seems like a lot to deal with.
Seems like a storyline you'd write and then immediately regret.
You would write your way out of it if you could.
As quick as possible.
Yeah, but look, it's comics. So in her powers and abilities, she has peak human strength, speed, agility, endurance, peak conditioning. She has slower aging. Everything we mentioned. She's basically a super soldier. She's a master martial artist. She's multilingual, master assassin, expert hacker, and a weapons expert. She can lift up to 500 pounds unassisted.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I can see why they didn't give that to her in the MCU, because as I said, like, Captain America just does the exact same thing.
That's the thing.
Then you don't need one of them on the team, because they both fulfill the same role.
Like, so much of Marvel Comics is just, like, the super soldier serum was really important to it.
It made like a whole host of superheroes and villains.
Yeah, and it's just never really addressed after Steve Rogers in the movies. Like, they never try and do it again.
Yeah.
Actually, that's what Bruce Banner was working on. He was working on a super soldier serum, and that's how he became the Hulk.
Seriously?
Yeah, they were trying to replicate
So
it.
the super soldier serum that was created in, I would say, the 40s, 30s, they've just used that as the point to branch out to hundreds of superheroes. That if it didn't exist, then none of these people would exist.
Exactly, yeah. And if you think about it, like, if you want to rewrite a character or to bring back a dead character, give him a blood transfusion from Steve Rogers,
and then
there's
back.
your excuse in the universe. That it makes sense.
Fucking hell. See, that breaks the universe a little bit.
It does, but it makes everyone larger than life as well.
Yeah, I suppose.
You know?
Yeah. Okay.
She also has Black Widow gauntlets, so they're kind of like a utility belt, but they have various tools of the spy trade, including tear gas pellets, a radio transmitter, and it can fire a 100-foot spring-loaded cable.
And does she have the electricity?
Yes, the Widow Bites.
Yes.
The little discs spray out electricity and hit everyone. She also usually carries plastic explosives on her belt. So she carries the equivalent of 4 pounds of TNT at all times.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
She reminds me of Captain America mixed with Batman.
A little bit, yeah.
That's like, she has the spy side, and then if it comes to it, it'll hand-to-hand combat. Not only she's the best fighter, but she's also probably stronger than you due to the whole super serum situation.
Yeah, and that's why, like, we get to the Marvel 1 to 7 rating system next. And I don't know how accurate it is.
Oh, you're going against your beloved system.
The one I have tattooed on my back, yes.
It's your chest tattoo as well. It's leaked through.
It's gone straight through the back.
It's backwards at the front.
So she has a durability of 3.
Okay.
Energy projection of 3. Fighting skills.
Energy projection at 3?
Yeah.
How much energy is she projecting?
I don't know, really.
Because, like, my thought immediately went to say those the widow bites.
The gauntlets, yeah.
But she's not really...
No, unless they've somehow counted that as energy.
They're
That's
not
all
coming
I
out
can
of her
think
skin, like. They're just a gun that she has.
Well, she projects them.
I suppose, but you could say that about anything.
She has fighting skills of 6. Intelligence of 3, which I think should be higher.
Probably should be higher.
Speed of 2 and strength of 3.
Okay.
So, like, it is quite a broad spread, and then very good fighting skills.
She's strong in most aspects, except for energy projection, which is definitely not 3.
Definitely like a -1.
It should be, I think, just commonly 0, right?
Yeah.
Many people can project energy.
And that's fine.
That's completely grand. I'm terrible at projecting energy.
So, I think the way it works out is that Steve Rogers is stronger.
Right.
Because he has, like, the pure... perfect super soldier serum the one time it worked.
That would be how they'd write it out.
Yeah, and she has the USSR,
the shitty
like
USSR
the Aldi version of it. But and she stated as well that the Punisher is stronger than her. She has said that in the past.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the Punisher presumably can lift more than 500 pounds.
Apparently, and in the comic books, are her and the Winter Soldier romantically together?
They are. It's an on and off thing.
Okay. It's like Batgirl Nightwing.
Yeah, and it's a bit of the Starfire thing that you encountered doing your report, that there's a lot of her that is tied to heroes she's been with.
Yes.
If you get me.
Is it not like fridging? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It's when the female has to be in trouble to, like, drive the male's storyline
to action. Yeah.
So, like, she's her own character, but I think probably when she goes into the orbit of the Winter Soldier, it just drives him rather than drives her character.
It does a little bit. Like, Bucky the Winter Soldier becomes Captain America at one point in the comics, and it's a lot of them talking about him being Captain America.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I've heard about that, and I was like looking at in the comic or in the movies, and I was always like, will they do this?
I see. It's interesting. Like, Falcon has been Captain America as well.
Yeah,
but
no, I meant like the romantic relationship. But then I think it was heavily implied that her and Jeremy Renner were together. And, but then that was weird because he had a family.
See, I think a lot of it is that they're generally very good friends, her and Bucky, because
they of course grew up and they're basically the same.
Yeah, there's a point in the comics where the Winter Soldier trains her in the Red Room. And they actually, like, they get on well together there until the KGB notices and then separates them.
See, because the idea James Bond, or not James Bond, I was going to say James Bond can't have any emotional connection, but that is literally his whole character trait.
Absolutely.
Just have sex with as many people as possible. But, like,
so there's no love there.
The idea... the idea would be that I'm sure they set them up as these Black Widows to be like, you can't have any emotional connection to anybody.
You're about the job.
You're a straight up killer.
Yeah.
And then, well, that would help because you isolate them for the brainwashing to be like, we're your only friends.
You have no one.
You've nobody other than us, so you got to stick with us.
Yeah, but now that her and Bucky are both on the same side, they're like, listen, what we went through was awful. And they both understand what the other went through.
It doesn't even have to be said.
Yeah.
They just kind of both understand.
Yeah, it's like, there's good days and bad days.
So do you think her getting her own movie is a good... we're probably going to talk about a movie Mondays again.
We will, yeah.
So don't worry about that, but just touching on it, is it a good idea for her to have her own movie so people can understand this backstory?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting story that she probably deserves sooner, if you get me, rather than in hindsight.
Yes, no spoilers.
No spoilers at all.
But yeah, no, I think you're right. But I think it's an interesting backstory to do, but as I said, I think it might be the wrong time to tell it.
Yeah.
Maybe a few years ago, it would have been a lot cooler.
I think so. And you can't do a lot of the war stuff because of the whole timeline thing.
Yeah.
But I think roundabout Age of Ultron, we should have got.
Okay, right. We'll finish up there. So Black
will.
Widow. That's a small little report. We'll probably get more into it for the trailer talk on Monday.
That's the thing. There's a lot to be covered.
We're going to cover a lot of that and things we see in that. So if you kind of want to cover a little bit more, we probably will get into it. We didn't really want to talk about it and then just repeat ourselves again. Whereas you just wanted to do a report on the actual character and her history.
Yeah, more of an origin.
An origin story, yeah. So that is the end of this week's Heroes here, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to follow us on Twitter, it's at Heroes for Hire Pod, the 4 is the number 4. Facebook, Heroes for Hire Podcast. Instagram, Heroes for Hire Podcast. If you want to support the show in any way, we have a Patreon. It is in the description down below. It's Heroes for Hire Podcast /Patreon.
Other way around, patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast.
I always get that wrong every single time, and I look to you for help. And actually, we are still collecting Q&A questions for our Christmas Q&A, so if you would be kindly enough to just send in any sort of questions you have into the Twitter or the Facebook, or email it to us. Our email is in the description as well. That is all absolutely fine. We will log them all in. I'm going to collect them all.
We'll put them into a big, like, rotating drum.
And then we'll just keep pulling them out, and I'll just keep asking you random, really personal questions.
Yeah, and then we'll pull out the winning lotto numbers. Make sure you tune in.
Oh, it was me. Yes, so I've been Conor Lawler.
I've been Sean May.
I'll see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.